The Ascension that never happened. I'm recording this on Ascension Day, but I want to talk about the Ascension that never happened. Before you rush to contact heresy hunters, let me assure you that I believe in the literal, historical, physical ascension of Jesus into heaven 40 days after Easter. No, I'm talking about a different Ascension Day, one that never happened. It's in Luke chapter 9. In chapter 7, we find Jesus healing a Roman centurion's servant and raising a widow's dead son. Luke tells us, at that very time Jesus healed many people from their sicknesses, diseases, and evil spirits, and gave sight to many blind people. On into chapter 8, and we find Jesus miraculously calming a storm at sea, delivering a man from a violent evil spirit, healing a woman who had suffered severe bleeding for 12 years, and raising the dead daughter of Jairus to life. Chapter 9 starts with details of a nationwide mission. The disciples went from village to village proclaiming the good news and healing people everywhere. Then, arguably the greatest of Jesus' miracles, the feeding of over 5,000 people with just 5 loaves and 2 fish. Then the greatest question put by Jesus: who do you say that I am? The climax is the Transfiguration. While Jesus was praying, the appearance of his face changed and his clothes became dazzling white. Everything has been leading up, quite literally, to this mountaintop moment. The story builds to a climax in which Peter's confession is pivotal. You are God's Messiah. Then validation by Moses and Elijah, representing the Old Testament witness of the law and the prophets. And finally, the voice of God himself. This is my Son whom I have chosen. Listen to him. You feel at this point that if we turned straight over to Acts chapter 1, it would be no surprise to read, he was taken up before their very eyes, and a cloud hid him from their sight. But if Luke chapter 9 is a climax, it's also a hinge on which the whole story turns. Verse 51. As the time approached for him to be taken up to heaven, Jesus resolutely set out for Jerusalem. Everything from this point focuses on that final fateful journey. Jesus, the perfect embodiment of all that the law demanded, the total fulfillment of all that the prophets predicted, the master of want, disease, sin, and death. At that point, Jesus could have ascended into heaven. But instead, with great determination, he set his face to go to Jerusalem. It's a dramatic moment. It's the ascension that never happened. He could have ascended, victorious in his perfection, to be acknowledged by angels and archangels and crowned afresh as King of heaven and earth. And we would not have been saved. Instead, he resolutely set out for Jerusalem to be rejected and crucified as a common criminal. Instead of coronation, he chose crucifixion. There was no other good enough to pay the price of sin. He only could unlock the gate of heaven and let us in.